NFC West, let's kick it off there.
Yeah.
Stat, first game in NFL history where both quarterbacks passed for 300 yards and also rushed for 50. I said that it was an ugly watch watching the Pats and Niners. It was so much fun to watch this game while I was awake.
It was.
Right?
Well, I mean, it's just
what those quarterbacks were doing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to start out, I just jotted this down, since we started with that number, compare their styles.
Right.
Compare Wilson with Murray right now, and then we'll dive into the particulars of how it played out.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I'm glad that you even asked that. And I haven't thought about it a lot, so you're catching me off guard, and it's going to be totally my raw answer here. But that's good. There's a lot of similarities, no doubt about that. You know, they have the ability, of course, to be pinpoint downfield throwers. They can get the ball out of their hands quickly on short passes, screens, all those type of things. They have the crazy ability of being able to look at read 1, peek at the pass rush just a little, look back up and look at read 2 and 3. Oh, wait, they're not open. Let me look at the pass rush one more time. Am I okay? All right, let me move. That's where they're really special.
They do look at the pass rush. Where we would get on other quarterbacks
no
for
doubt.
that.
Right.
They do stop and kind of glance down.
They do, all the time. And, then, you know, there's probably 2 or 3 plays every game where each one of them I go, ooh, that guy's open. But you can't have it all.
Right.
You know, I mean, yeah, there's also 10 other plays where I go, nobody's open. And look at the magic he made because he looked at the rush to avoid people and then found people downfield, right? So, yeah, there is some of that, certainly. I guess what I would say more is Russell is a little bit more of a scrambler or just the reader of a defense to how he reacts in running the ball. Like a few times late in the game, he had a few scrambles where it was just, he knew it was 2-man, and he went, they can't, I'm the 6th receiver. There's nobody here for me. So he said, set hut. He let them go out for a second, and he just took off. Like Kyler Murray, I don't think would do that yet. I think Kyler Murray would still sit there and go, wait, I'm going to try to throw the ball, and then, okay, if I don't see something, then I'll try to start looking at the pass rush and make a move and dart or do something like that. That's where they're a little different, or the fact that Kyler Murray will call some game plan design runs for himself. I guess that's where it's a little different that way, but still very similar. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. It's the first thing that came to mind just because those are 2 guys that are really, you wouldn't compare Murray to anybody except Wilson and vice versa with the way they're playing in the pocket.
Right.
And they can escape pressure and still be really good in the passing game while being a threat to run.
Is Murray ever a number 1 pick in the draft unless Russell Wilson has the success he has? I don't know. I think there's that's a good conversation to have. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is. I think Russell Wilson eased everybody's pains when it came to the 6-foot type quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, I think he broke the mold for Baker Mayfield. And then they went, oh, Baker Mayfield's okay. Yeah. Well, we can go 2 inches shorter with Kyler Murray. Okay, he's good too. Yeah. And I think that's where they have a little bit in common there.
Too bad someone didn't do that for Charlie Ward back in 1993.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
think
well,
about
it
how
was
many
a different
guys,
game, right?
I know, right?
He just got unlucky. I think about that with our buddy Doug Flutie. I mean, he's playing football now. He's probably a much better NFL player than he was during his era. Right. And I don't mean that as disrespect. He still had a great career. I'd kiss somebody's ass for Doug Flutie's career. I'm saying that it would be better because he was
for
before
as good
his
as
time.
it was. Teams would have been more open to his height and the way he was
exactly
playing.
Right. Yeah. Or making an offense fit his skill set, all those type of things. Yeah.
Right. Let's get to the first social media question. Noel Hall.
Right.
I need a quarterback's insight on how Russell throws a couple of those picks, really 3 picks.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Very much not like him.
Right. No, not like him. I mean, it's shocking when you see Russell Wilson make those type of mistakes. So, you know, let's get into it. The first one, right, is the in the end zone.
Which I thought was the worst one.
It was the worst one. I mean, it is bad. I don't know. We'll get into it. The one a little later is bad too.
Yeah.
But I think the first thing I would talk about is, first off, they're trying to catch the Cardinals off guard. Mm-hmm. They've gotten down to the 2-yard line. They're trying to rush up to the line of scrimmage and catch the Cardinals, trying to figure out who's playing man-to-man here. And you go, set hut. And they have a little bunch package to the right to where they're hoping to get a little pick play for all 3 receivers to basically pick for Chris Carson coming out of the backfield to be wide open in the flat. I'm sure it's something on film, game planning, where they thought, oh, we got a chance to make this happen.
And his body language said, ooh, that's what I have.
Right? His throw was, oh, wide open, slam dunk.
Yeah.
He had no idea. And listen, it's a 5-man pressure. It's not an all-out blitz. And here's the beauty of the play. I don't think Budda Baker's supposed to be covering the guy. I don't. I think Budda Baker was just as messed up as some of the other people on the defense, and he just saw the back go, and he went, wait, it looks like everybody in the bunch is covered. but I'll just run over there. I honestly think they were trying to play a 5-man pressure, and Budda Baker was supposed to be the free safety. They have 2 guys covering 1 guy out of those 3 guys in the bunch. So either somebody else was supposed to blitz and it was supposed to be 3-on-3 with the bunch and Budda Baker had the back out of the backfield, or somebody messed up and it was supposed to be 3-on-3 with the bunch. Budda Baker's the free safety, and then somebody was supposed to get the back out of the backfield, that extra guy who covered the extra guy in the bunch. I don't know, but either way, it was a remarkable play by him. And as everybody's starting to learn with Budda Baker, because guess what? The Cardinals are kind of good, so now we have some other guys that we start to know. But now everybody's starting to realize, oh, I understand why they gave Budda Baker $14 million a year in the offseason. Yeah, he's f***ing everywhere. He's the best player in their defense. That was a big-time play, and too bad he got run down by the freak of nature, DK.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
What a play. And it
What a
ended up
play.
saving them points. And not just 3, but saved them 7 points right there. They
Yeah.
could have had those points had Russell been a little bit more, I guess, not so cavalier.
No, if he
about
throws
the
a
way.
rifle,
Yeah.
if he just gets it and goes, wait,
like he was
he's
playing
open,
catch.
let me throw it in there. But see, see how this, and can we rewind these dots one more time if you're watching on YouTube just to look at it. But look at the start here. So now play it, please, just slowly if you can. Just keep going, keep going. See now, watch how there's 2 guys. 2 guys went with that shallow cross that went from right to left, see? So that's where I think one of those guys is supposed to be on the back, and Budda Baker, I think, was supposed to be still in the middle of the field looking for crossers to help out. Either way, it worked out. It was a big play of the game, and you thought, whoa, momentum swing. But Seattle's defense came up big. I don't know why Cliff Kingsbury didn't kick the field goal. I would have, but that's just the way we are, and that was that.
I feel like when Arizona comes up, because Murray is such an exciting player, that we talk about their offense a lot. And we'll get into their offense more, but defensively, since we're talking Budda Baker, and we're kind of on the topic of Russell Wilson's 3 picks.
Right, let's do it.
Let's think about his 2 other interceptions and also weave in what you saw the Arizona defense do against him. They didn't stop him.
Right.
They played well enough to beat him.
They played well enough to beat him. I mean, early on, the Seahawks were surgical. They did whatever they wanted. I mean, they really did. Within the realms of the offense, and of course, some splash plays by Russell Wilson where, hey, yeah, the defense won this play, but Russell still made a play, and it looks like you lost, even though you did pretty good. But I think, in general, early on, especially the first 3 quarters, Arizona played pretty basic football. It was a lot of coverage. It wasn't like we're going to do anything crazy, a blitz here and there, all right? But there was a moment in the 3rd quarter where it all really changed to me. And that's where I said, ooh, Vance Joseph's feeling comfortable, and he's sick of just playing these, benign, normal defenses and getting picked apart.
Right.
The play where it jumps out to me, it was 3rd and 5. It was 8:46 in the first quarter, and 8:46 in the 3rd quarter, excuse me. And I wrote down, this is the first time the Cards did something crazy on defense. And they did the play we see later in the game. We're going to all-out blitz, and everybody dropped out. So it looked like everybody was in the line of scrimmage, and they fooled them, and he had to throw the ball away. And I think they ended up kicking the field goal on that series, or maybe they might have even had to punt the ball away in general. I think they did. I think they had to punt the ball away. But from that moment on, that's when I went, oh, Vance Joseph's had enough. He's going to start toying with this, and if he gets burnt, he gets burnt. Because he's probably going, wait, I'm getting burnt anyways.
Exactly, right?
So let me try. That's where I'm always shocked by defenses. Like, wait, you're getting burnt anyways, so try something new.
Yeah.
I mean, don't always be like, oh, no, I still think this might work somehow. No, it's not. We've seen enough. And to me, that was just one little inkling of turning of the game. And where do you want me to go from there? Yeah,
build on that a little bit, because I think that was somewhat early in the game. At Compass Traveler says, I know you dislike the blitz. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I mean, you don't like bringing 5 and all
blitz
that.
too heavy.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't like blitz heavy, right?
So he says, I know you dislike the blitz, but how about Vance Joseph's blitzes late in the game? By the way, your podcast is my favorite. Greetings from Mexico.
Thanks. Well, yes, and I appreciate him saying that. Yes, it will. And like I said, this was that 3rd quarter play. Not that it held true the rest into the 4th quarter, but you started to see more of like, we're going to start getting exotic on defense and start doing some crazy shit. What else did they do? Well, it was all-out blitz. It was blitz come out and do crazy stuff. It was a little like, hey, one guy drops, one guy comes. It was a little bit more of that instead of vanilla defensive coverages. And to our buddy's point there, I mean, that's the beauty, okay? So, all right, let's hit on 2 things here. I'm going to hit onto that last interception because he wants to talk about those blitzes and things like that. But before we get to that and those 2 points, Russell Wilson, great. Lockett, great. Where was DK Metcalf?
Right? The question we have, where was he?
Right. Well, and that's the big question. Now, to me, this is where Russell Wilson and Brian Schottenheimer, they're wrong, and this is where they messed the game up. You can't let teams play DK Metcalf the way the Arizona Cardinals did.
How'd they play him?
Patrick Peterson manned him up for for a lot of the game.
Next Gen Stats says shadowed him 42 of his 49 routes, 86%. And 4 targets there is all during that time, 1 reception, 6 yards, and a pick.
Yeah, he did a great job. He did a really good job. I'll tell you where he really disrupted him is off the line of scrimmage a few times. Patrick Peterson, as good technique as he has at the line of scrimmage, him being a stronger type corner, he gave him a few issues getting off the ball. But I think the big thing to me, more than anything, and Peterson had his problems with Lockett, right? I mean, those two, he had 2 big bombs he let up there either way. They protected Peterson every now and then with like a safety that might roll over the top, even though he's covering DK man-to-man. But more than not, and one of the disappointing things I'll take away from the game is that Seattle, if you have man-to-man that many times against DK Metcalf and you've only thrown him the ball a few times, that's your fault. You let them off the hook, and they did. And there's a handful of plays where if I go back and show you the game, I go, look, he threw the ball over here. Look at DK Metcalf. He's gone. Yeah. It's a touchdown. He threw the ball over here. Patrick Peterson's 20 yards off. If he just throws the hitch route to DK Metcalf, it's going to be him one-on-one, and nobody can tackle DK Metcalf one-on-one. So I was really surprised that the light didn't go off in Russell a little bit more, because I hold DK in the category now of, I think like you do, where it's just like, if it's one-on-one, the rest of the play.
Right.
It's T.O., it's Randy Moss, it's that type of guy where you just go, no, I go to him.
And it's not just a light that you would think would go off during the game. That light went off a few weeks ago. I mean, in all the major moments, they've been in so many close games.
Yes.
That's where he's gone.
I know.
So it's surprising, even though Peterson is good, even though Lockett was on fire, that he didn't just have this internal thing going on. Hey, I got to get the ball to DK. I got to give him a couple chances. He did once late, underthrew him.
Yes.
Where DK was open, and it was just about 4 or 5 yards underthrown.
Underthrew him there. Through the second interception, he's throwing to DK Metcalf. He gets blitz. He runs to his right. Vance Joseph he blitzes Russell. Russell runs to his right. Mm-hmm. Russell now knows I have man-to-man downfield. As he's winding up the throw, DK is like, well, when's the ball going to come? So he stops and puts the brakes on because he's at the point where he's going like, wait, maybe I need to come back to him. Maybe that's – and as he puts out the brakes, Russell's already in the motion throwing the ball to be the jump ball.
Yeah.
And now it's too late. So DK stopped, and there's Patrick Peterson to catch the ball in the end zone and get the interception. Right. So they were off kilter the whole night. And to your point, Brian Schottenheimer and the coaching staff, they need to get in Russell's ear a little bit.
Who do you think that's on more? Do you think it's on Russell? I mean, he's been playing for almost a decade.
Right.
Is it more on him to be like, okay, I got to do this more often in this game because it's worked the last few weeks.
Yeah.
I got to come back to that. Or is it more on Shotty for not coming back and getting in his ear and saying, hey, I know other things are working.
Yeah.
You got to look that way.
I look at it more as the Schottenheimer's job. And not that I blame it all on him, because like I think your point about Russell Wilson, like he's been playing enough football too to realize like, wait, he's telling everybody it's the best player on the planet, the best wide receiver on earth.
Right.
So okay, then attack, because we haven't seen anybody be able to cover the guy yet. But I think it's a little bit of a combo there, let alone find some cheap ways to get him the ball too. Why was it 10 minutes into overtime before we threw him a wide receiver screen?
Yeah.
He doesn't get speed sweeps. I mean, we got to get him the ball other ways then, if that's going to be the case, let alone they could have just played my guy's better than your guy, and we're going to go one-on-one outside. And that, to me, was where I was disappointed.
They have this season leading up to it.
They have done it. That's where it was shocking.
Right.
And maybe they got lost in the Lockett matchup, and he kept seeing Lockett on Kirkpatrick, and he thought, ooh, I like this.
Mm-hmm. And it was working. I mean, 15 catches, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. You don't see that very often.
No.
How about his third pick? How about the third interception that he threw?
So now this goes to our buddy in Mexico, I believe, who asked the question about the blitzes late.
That was, let's see, Compass Traveler.
Wants to
know about Vance Joseph's blitzes.
Vance Joseph, I mean, he started with the head of Russell Wilson and Darrell Bevel. I mean, he really did. So here's the last 4 plays of the game are all-out blitz, all-out blitz, screen to DK Metcalf, called back for holding,
Right.
show the all-out blitz look again, everybody drop out. And
that's what happened on that last play?
And that's what happened on that last play. And Russell, predetermined, because he was under duress, and they didn't have a great plan the first 2 times they all-out blitzed earlier in the series. And I think he thought, wait, they're up here at the line of scrimmage. I'm going to get the ball, and I'm going to just dump it off to Lockett right now and let him run and try to make a move and go.
And he wasn't even close, though.
He wasn't even close. He wasn't looking.
Right.
It looked like there's never been a discussion about doing that versus all out.
Almost like he was throwing hot to a place, and Lockett didn't know that he was supposed to be hot. I mean, somebody was completely off. One of those two.
I would believe it's Russell Wilson by the way his reaction was after the interception, the thing I see on film, what him doing on the sidelines. I think it was all him. I think it was something where he went, all-out blitz, and he went outside the realm of the offense and made a mistake. I don't know. If he sits there and holds the ball, okay, he's going to have Tyler Lockett for a touchdown because they've showed the all-out blitz. They're running verticals. They're running 3 verticals to the right. You know, the old crosser this way and another guy run and go. And because they're all up at the line of scrimmage showing blitz, if he just takes the drop and just sits there a little bit, all those guys that are trying to cover Lockett downfield are way behind because they've been showing the blitz. But either way, it was a great call. Isaiah Simmons, the rookie, and I'm telling you, I think he only played 3 or 4 snaps the whole game.
And I'm sure you're the same. You're probably getting more than I am. I had so many tweets this morning asking me to ask you, why isn't he playing more?
Yeah, because so it was 5 stats Pete's telling me, and I would bet you 3 or 4 of them in overtime, Pete, I would imagine. But he's raw. We've talked about this a little. He's positionless. You know, and I don't think they've figured out exactly what to do with him yet.
What would you do with him?
I always wanted to just play him at middle linebacker and just let him fly around the field. But I think, like, him taking on blocks, him reading certain plays in between the tackles are not his cup of tea. They're not. So I don't know what they're going to do with him here.
What if they took him in that game and just said, hey, you're the spy on Russell Wilson?
Sure.
Would that work?
It would. He's certainly capable of being that type of guy. I think it's just some of the other stuff. I think they're more worried about, hey, you can be the spy. It's great, but on 3rd and 3, when they pull the guard and Chris Carson's coming at you, what are you going to do then? Because that's what we're worried about.
Yeah.
And I think those are some of his issues that way.
And I think you're probably right on. I mean, being positionless is a major problem.
This is what scared teams from him in the draft a little.
I'm glad you took it there with Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah.
Because we back up to the spring, and everybody loved his athleticism and potential, but some teams didn't like him because they didn't know where to play him.
Yeah.
So if the Cardinals took him, I would think that they had a clear plan of why they were taking him. We like his potential, and we know we want to use him in this way.
Right.
Isn't that why they took him? Because they had a specific plan for his unique talent?
Well, I think I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to tell you there. You would think that you'd like to think that.
If he is still positionless, I put that more on the coaches.
Agreed.
Than him.
Agreed. Like, you have to have a plan for a guy that, this guy, here's what he is, or he might not be perfect in this area, but, you know, on every 3rd down, he's going to cover tight ends this year for us in football.
Right.
Or whatever it is. But, right now, you know, he's a freakish athlete. You see him when he's on the field because there's just not a lot of people standing up that look like him. But I think it goes back to a little of the Clemson stuff. You know, a lack of physicality. Can you trust him at middle linebacker and do those things when a guard's pulling? Will he not try to run around it or try to make the guard miss to make the tackle, but then at the same time you leave a huge gap, right? So if you don't make the tackle, it's like, see ya, bye-bye, running back. I think it's probably some of that scares them more than anything. You know, Clemson, it was cool in how they used him and all that, but at the same time, it did a disservice to him as well because he never really got to hone in on one thing and go, wait, I got to get better at this. Wait, I'm good at this. I need to improve this if I'm going to play this position. You know, it was always like, hey, you're a middle linebacker this play, you're a defense end this play, you're outside linebacker this play, you're back at safety. Hey, we got you a corner now.
And you're up 38-3.
And nobody cares. Anyway. Exactly right.
Yeah.
And more times than not, he was playing against people that, of course, he's athletically more gifted than. So obviously there's some rawness here that they're going to have to find their way with him. And you know, we talked about, before your ear blew out there, Hassan Reddick is a similar guy for them a few years ago. Not as maybe multi-positional coming out of Temple as Simmons was, but nobody knew where to play him in the front. As a middle linebacker, as the outside linebacker, as a defensive end. And it took them a while to find a spot for him to where now he's starting to pop. But it makes me, I guess what I'm saying is I'm actually shocked that they took Isaiah Simmons, because that one has been a shaky experiment to this point.
Up to this point.
So we'll see where it goes.
Up to this point. Hopefully it plays out where they can find a home for all that potential that he has. Still early.
I would think he could be a George Kittle cover eraser type guy.
Something. And again, I come back to, I'm sure they had a plan. I'm sure they had a specific thought. We just haven't seen it yet. Victory lap. We like to let you do this a number of times.
Baby.
On Monday. So let's start here with Tyler Lockett's first touchdown. Did you say on Football Night in America that the first touchdown of the game would be scored by Tyler Lockett?
That's just what I do. I just look at my crystal ball and I say, touchdown Tyler Lockett, and it happens.
When it happened, when he hauls that in, are you at home or are you watching here in the studio?
No. So this is... Yeah, I'm at home.
Okay.
So when the show gets over, I jump in the car. I have the game recorded. So I'm behind, right? I usually get home, and it's about 8:55, 9 o'clock, and I'm a significant amount behind. I happened to look at my phone last night.
Yeah.
And I had a text, and I usually don't look at my text, but I saw Jack Collinsworth, and I looked, and he said, good call on the Lockett TD. And I was like, oh, there, why did I look? I was like, all right, I guess the Seahawks are up 7-0.
Yeah. So is it like you stand up and fist pump? Are you all excited? Or you're like,
no.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's whatever. I don't look at it like that. It's a total guess.
Of course it is.
And I was coaxed into it a little bit because.
Who coaxed you?
It's Matt Casey, producer, right? You know, because he was like, all right, we want to do first touchdown tonight, but can somebody pick somebody other than DK and DeAndre Hopkins? And I said, okay, I'll do that. Because, again, it's just a guess.
Yeah.
Even though I probably would have took Hopkins or DK Metcalf.
Of course, right? Yeah.
But they said that. They're like, yeah, I mean, we're already talking about DK. Can we find another? And I was like, I'll take Lockett. I was like, I don't think it's that crazy. I was like, in fact, they might be all over DK to where it leads to a great look for Lockett.
So Jack texted you and said, nice job. Did Matt text and say, I told you so, man?
No, he did not.
No.
He did not. He did not. No.
Missed opportunity there.
Yes, missed opportunity.
Other side, Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Under the major question of how do you stop him?
Right.
We have a question here from Neg Lagone. He says, what do you think about Kyler Murray dropping back 50 times? That's 5-0 with 0 sacks. I mean, that's just one example of what I said to you kind of in between being live here and being off, that there's nobody in the league like him. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the league.
No, I get you.
But there isn't really a comp.
No, there's nobody that can put pressure on you within the drop back pass game, scramble, quarterback design run, quite the way Kyler Murray can do it right now. Lamar Jackson certainly can put you in some binds, but he's not the passer that Kyler Murray is yet. You know, but yeah, I think that's very fair to say as far as his skill set is special. It is. It's in lightning quick release. He can push the ball down the field with power, as we see, and then he can just do stuff that, nobody can.
Why doesn't he get sacked, though? I mean, other super elusive and smart guys end up getting sacked.
Nobody is elusive as he is. I mean, this is about as quick as feet as they come. I mean, Lamar's really quick. Mm-hmm. I don't think Lamar's as shifty Barry Sanders-ish quite the way Kyler Murray is. Lamar's a little bit of like, you know, and then he just flies to a spot, right? He kind of gives you a body shake, and then his feet move real fast, and he plants one, and he goes.
Right.
Kyler can really give you the, like, breakdown, Barry Sanders, which way am I going? And then he re-accelerates, and you can't keep up with that. And that's where, I mean, it's very, very special.
And I want to get to, okay, so then what should they have done? What do you do to defend this guy? But let's start with what Seattle did. Maybe what they did right or what they should have done better.
Well, like to our buddy's question who asked about how about the 50 times, no sacks, all that, right? Yeah. First off, he's special. They get the ball out of his hand quickly, more times than not, so that helps out, right? Pretty good screens, and even though they didn't live in all that. But the major point is this. Seattle's pass rush sucks. I mean, they suck. Their defense sucks. There's no other way to say it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, early on, Seattle took the approach, really the whole game, because Seattle doesn't have much choices. They don't. You know, and one of the things I wrote in my notes, and let me just get to it here just so I don't mess it up, but I just wrote, like, you know, it's a bad combination. You know, no pass rush, can't play man coverage, and then you got Kyler Murray. That's a bad formula. They'll never be able to blow out Arizona. Never. When they play them later in the year, it'll be a close game. There's a reason he's 2-1 against them, because this defense does not match up well with him. And they spread the field and make it hard on you that way. Early on, they did a pretty good job. They did the old Tampa Bay Bucks defense. This is what they did. Tampa 2, Michael Vick. This is what we did in Tampa. We had the best success against Michael Vick. Rush 4, drop 7, play Tampa 2. All eyes are in zone, right? You're not looking in man-to-man. All eyes are on the quarterback. You see him break the pocket. Let's start to rally and tackle, right? That's great when you have Derek Brooks and Simeon Rice and Warren Sapp and those guys because, yeah, they can pursue. You could put an extra guy on the field for Seattle, and they still wouldn't be able to tackle him. They got nothing there. There's nothing. This is where they miss Jamal Adams that way. But, yeah, slowly but surely, he just started to pick them apart. They started to get a feel for, oh, it's Tampa 2. Oh, it's cover 3. Oh, it's quarter, half. That's all it was, all game long. All you had to worry about is those 3 coverages. It's zone coverage. Is it 3 deep or 2 deep? That's all you had to worry about all game long. And, yeah, they had a few cool, unique plays, but so much of the plays in the offense is just Kyler Murray. I don't come away going, oh, Arizona's attack is surgical. Like, they just picked apart this zone scheme and had all these cool plays, that I love. No. More times than not, I'm very underwhelmed by what I see. But he is so special, and because they call the game in a spread fashion and things like that, they just put you in a bind with their players. Like, hey, we're going to feed Hopkins, and we're going to spread the field out, so can you tackle him one-on-one? Oh, wait, you put an extra guy in the box to stop Kyler Murray? Oh, now it's one-on-one with Hopkins. We're going to throw to Hopkins. Right. Oh, you're going to play zone? Okay, well, we'll run draws and quarterback draws, and, we'll let him just sit back there in the pocket because your pass rush is not good. Oh, nobody's open in the zone? Oh, don't worry. He'll move and he'll manipulate, or he'll just run for a first down. And that's really the whole game. I can't sit here and tell you that there was anything they did schematically to screw over Seattle. Nothing. No, Seattle just stinks, and he's good.
Did Seattle make any kind of adjustments you saw as the game got longer?
No, it did not. And this is the other aspect. When the game gets longer, advantage Kyler Murray. He's like Derrick Henry. He wears defenses out because everybody gets sick of chasing him.
He's so tired.
They do.
Yeah.
So he kills the pass rush.
Right.
By the fourth quarter, you could tell Seattle's got nothing. They can't keep up with them. You know, there's plays where it's over and they're all like,
he may also kill his own team that way.
Yeah.
Interesting question here from at McTavern. He says, why do we always hear about defenses getting tired, but not offenses? Don't they get tired too?
Well, they do. They do, but they're playing from the position of power too, and they know where they're supposed to go, where the defenses react. And that takes more energy away, right? Mm-hmm. It takes more energy to, have to just follow a guy than to be the receiver and go, wait, I just got to run 10 yards and out.
Right.
The guy covering him's, I got to worry about the out. I got to jam him. Oh, wait, he might run deep. Oh, no, he's got to. It's just a more intense way. So, yes, that wears on you as it goes. Now, do they have to be aware of that a little bit? Okay, yes, but you could cheat offensive plays off, too, to help people, right? Oh, here's a wide receiver screen. Hey, O-lineman, take it easy. Mm-hmm. Their defense still got to pursue and go get them, right? Oh, it's max protect. I'm going to just throw a little one-on-one fade. Okay, nobody had to work that hard, but the defense had a pass rush, and they still had to cover. Mm-hmm. So that's where I hope I explained that the right way there.
If you could give one piece of advice, one area where you would like to see Arizona schematically, because it was a fun watch, but it doesn't sound like you're too impressed with what they're doing.
No, I'm not as of late. I'm not.
One piece of advice, not 10, just one to say, do this better.
Like
incorporate this.
I would like to. He got under center at the end of the game a few plays last night. One of them, he had a big play action deep cross. Like one of the things I wrote, I go, if they're underneath center, something's up.
Yeah.
They're trying to gash you. They don't go underneath center unless he's got some game plan extraordinary play. That's the one thing I've realized. So when he's under center, I go, they're going to take a shot and play action. Mm-hmm. It's going to be some type of boot, or it's going to be a crazy screen. That's all they do when he's under center. So I just would like to see, I think, more of that. What if you had Kyler Murray and a little bit of the Sean McVay stuff and the Kyle Shanahan stuff?
More like boot, play action?
Yeah, play here. Hey, fake speed sweep, fake the zone, bootleg, play action, and just more moving parts. Because, again, what's that offense do? It gives Jared Goff the edge a lot of the times, right? So what is it going to do for Kyler Murray? That's where I just think they're missing out. And they don't need a lot. Mm-hmm. They just need a little bit, and then they can go back to their core stuff.
True.
But that to me is what I would like to see a little bit more of.
And in one way, this isn't a fair question because you can't just judge him based off of pure pocket passing because he adds so much and it's such a difficult preparation and execution. But strictly as a pocket passer, as you think about it, and you hope to see a little bit more of the basic play action drop back, let him throw from in there from under center.
Right.
How would you rate him, 1 through 32? Not specifically, but just kind of general ballpark of where he is as a pocket passer right now.
As a pure pocket passer that way. Yeah, that's a good question. You know, he is in the top half of football. That's for sure. I do feel that way. You know, I really, until 2 or 3 weeks ago, I probably would have been like, oh, he's top 10. But the Detroit-Carolina game and then Dallas last week, he's been off throwing the football. He really has. Last night he looked a lot better. There's no doubt. But I guess just here I'm looking at just some quarterbacks and some teams and all that. I would say somewhere between that 10 to 16 range right now.
I was going to throw out to you either 12 to 16 or 16 to 20.
No, I would go more the 12, 16, 10 to 16, right in that area.
Considering everything else he can do, I mean,
I know.
It's a giant win for the
right. And even if the pocket, the pocket passing, that's where we rank it. But then when you go, okay, now he's outside the pocket, and now or his feet are cockeyed, you know, and he's got to throw this type of throw and all that, he makes up for some of those misses he might have in the pocket, I guess is what I'm trying to say there.
Before we move on from this one, I want to get back up and come back to that question I wanted to ask you. And I said we will get to this. So what do teams do? I mean, now it's not just, hey, we're going to run all over the field, but we're eventually going to win this game. This is a tough game to get ready for, but they're really not that good.
Right.
You're going to have to beat Arizona in December in meaningful games, maybe even in January as well.
Yep.
What should teams do against him in this offense that is unlike any other?
Yeah, well, I've seen two different approaches to where there are 2 losses this year. Carolina, who has a pretty good front four, so they had Brian Burns and Yetur Gross-Matos and Derek Brown at defensive tackle. They just played, we're going to rush 4 and kind of play zone. We're not going to over-rush you. We did what me and Coach Dungy talked about on Football Night in America last night, the mush rush, right, where it's don't fly by him and open up these huge holes so he can step up and then we're screwed because he can turn on the afterburners and run for 40 or throw a 40-yard bomb. So I think it's more of that type of stuff that you have to be really cognizant of that. And you have to have some athletes up front that are going to be able to contain him. Right. Detroit played man-to-man, rushed 4, mush rush, same thing, where they never just went pin your ears back, go get them, and who gives a shit about everything else. No, it was always a controlled rush with a 5th guy hovering around the line of scrimmage. You know, as we've talked about in prior podcasts, the middle linebacker he's up there by the center. He doesn't blitz, right? He just sits there so the center can't go help out because now they have 4 one-on-ones. And now the center's watching him, but he's really just, I held you there and I'm watching the quarterback. And as soon as he makes a break, I make the break too. Those are the 2 ways you're going to have to defend him. You know, and of course you got to have a little talent. But like I wanted to look at their schedule real quick just to tell you some teams or things that I could say. Like I know they got the Rams still twice in their schedule. The Rams are one of those teams that have that mold. Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Brockers. They have enough speed up front. And then if they want one of their middle linebackers who can run and do that type of stuff, that's where they could be special as well. I bet you New England's going to have a great game plan for him going here in a few weeks because they'll be able to play man-to-man. All these secondary and safety guys they got in the game, they'll have one of them assigned to him. So, you know, never easy.
Right.
A lot on him. There's a lot of pressure on him because it's all about him. It's all him. I mean, like we said, the offense is not overly creative or going to just serve him up silver platter completions always.
Arizona 5-2.
Yeah.
Seattle loses. They are 5-1.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.